Power Rangers Magnificent Megaforce. Chapter 11. Rinshi ×3 in Angel Groves. Ozzy and Monica stood in the middle of the temple. The gentle breeze swept through the massive archways and tickled their ankles. They stood in their fighting poses, bamboo sticks in hand. They had just started training. The temple echoed with the sound of the two bamboo sticks clanking together as they danced around the room. Suddenly, Albert jumped from his corner. Guys, we have a ping! Another key's been activated! Albert chirped.
Finally, some action!
Monica sighed. Come on, I already have the coordinates programmed. Albert told them. They gathered their things, they all huddled together as Albert aimed his portal device and pulled the trigger, opening a portal. The trio walked through it and appeared on a rooftop of a really tall skyscraper.
Whoa! Check out the view from up here!
Monica gasped. She ran over to the ledge and gazed upon the city below. Where the hell are we? Ozzy asked. The ghost of Jason Lee Scott materialized next to Albert.
Angel Grove, the last city of nothing but pure human civilization. When the Armada won, aliens moved in, but they kept Angel Grove for humans only, as a sign of power, a warning. If the human race ever retaliated, then Angel Grove being wiped out would be a countermeasure.
Jason growled. So, would there be a key here? Ozzy asked. Apparently, yeah. We got a reading, but I don't know exactly why we're up here. Albert said, confused.
I grew up in the capital, but nothing compared to human-made architecture.
Monica sighed. Suddenly, 3 figures appeared around them. What are Rinshi doing here? Albert asked as the trio all dropped into their fighting stances.
What are these things?
Monica asked.
Originally, they were foot soldiers to Daishi. The Armada have been working on reviving some old enemies to boost their army numbers. I'm assuming that this is what we are experiencing here.
Jason stated. Welcome, Rangers! We've been tasked to bring you in, one of the Rinshi stated. We will happily decline. Ozzy retorted. Ozzy ran at the first Rinshi. He jumped up, spun around and kicked at the Rinshi, but it ducked down, dodging the strike. As Ozzy landed, the Rinshi threw out several jabs, striking Ozzy in the torso multiple times before he stumbled backwards. Monica dived in at the second Rinshi, who sidestepped, causing Monica to miss her attack. She rolled across the rooftop. Then the Rinshi advanced and kicked her in the back. Monica stumbled forward. She then threw her elbow back, trying to strike the Rinshi, who was now behind her, but the Rinshi blocked the strike, grabbing her arm, jabbing her in the back, and then the Rinshi with one hand flung Monica back to where she came from. Albert jumped into the air and double kicked the third Rinshi, who caught him by the ankle, and with a quick flick of the wrist, Albert was spun around in the air and dropped to the floor. Albert quickly jumped to his feet. The Rinshi side-kicked Albert in the torso, sending him flying back, crashing onto the ground next to Ozzy and the stumbling Monica. The trio helped each other back to their feet. Alright, no more playing around, Ozzy growled. He pulled out his legendary morpher and his ranger key.
I'm right here with you.
Monica nodded as she too pulled out her legendary morpher and her ranger key. They flipped open their morphers and flipped their keys up and slotted the key into their morphers. They turned the keys and then held out the morphers. There was a glow of yellow and a glow of red, and Ozzy morphed into the red Super Megaforce Ranger as Monica morphed into the yellow Super Megaforce Ranger. Albert held out his hand and his ring began to glow. The morphing grid weapon wheel appeared around him. He looked at his selection and grabbed a black bison axe. It materialized as it was pulled from the grid. The weapon wheel faded away and Albert gripped onto the bison axe. The weight of it all was sudden in his grasp. If we're upgrading forms, then let's upgrade forms, one of the Rinshi sneered. Then the animal-themed bronze statues attached to their foreheads all started to glow. The first Rinshi took the monstrous form based on a gecko. I am Rinshi, borrowing the spirit of the gecko from the fallen Gakko, he called out. The second Rinshi took the monstrous form based on a crocodile. I am Rinshi, borrowing the spirit of the crocodile from the fallen crocodile, he called out, and the third Rinshi took the monstrous form based on a monkey. I am Rinshi, borrowing the spirit of the monkey from the fallen grinder, he called out.
Guys, be careful. They're using animal spirits from fallen Rinshi, which is giving them access to their monster forms.
Jason told them. The The Red Ranger ran at the monkey monster with his legendary saber in hand. He swung his sword, but the monkey monster blocked each strike with his staff. The monkey monster threw his staff out and spun it through the air and struck the Red Ranger, sparks exploding off his suit as he was thrown off his feet. He quickly scurried to his feet as the monkey monster caught his staff. The Ranger ran at the monkey. He tried to jump and spin slash the monster, but it managed to block the attack with one end of his staff. Then, with a quick flick of the other end, it struck the Red Ranger. The Yellow Ranger aimed both her legendary blasters at the Gecko monster, and she pulled both the triggers, but the Gecko monster moved swiftly, dodging each and every shot. Then he threw a couple of his shurikens, which hit the Yellow Ranger head-on, sparks exploding off her suit, and she dropped to the ground. Albert swung the bison axe at the crocodile monster, but no means did it do any damage. After several strikes, the crocodile monster grabbed Albert by one hand and struck him across the torso with the other, and then he threw Albert away. The trio all gathered up. "We need a different Ranger form. Let's try Mighty Morphin," the Red Ranger ordered.
No, let me go. Mystic force magic might triumph their animal spirits.
The Yellow Ranger protested. "I disagree. Mighty Morphin we both have a key for. We need to trump them together as a team," the Red Ranger argued.
We can't argue over which rangers to morph into right now.
The Yellow Ranger growled. "Guys, pack it in and do something," Albert roared. Both Rangers pulled out their new keys and slotted them into their morphers, calling out for their new legendary Ranger modes. The Yellow Ranger morphed into the blue Mystic Force Ranger, and the Red Ranger morphed into the red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. The Red Ranger summoned his Power Sword and slashed the crocodile monster as the Blue Ranger summoned her Blue Magi Staff and aimed it at the gecko. A blast of water hit the monster. Albert rolled forward and slashed the gecko monster several times with the bison axe. Jason's voice echoed in the minds of both the Rangers.
"Focus on the gecko. Take him out quickly. Make it easier on yourselves. Don't get spread thin,"
Jason suggested.
Got it.
The Blue Mystic Force Ranger nodded. She aimed her Magi Staff in the air, and the water she summoned before moved on its own, capturing the Gecko monster in a floating ball of water. The Gecko monster tried to swim out, trying to escape, but the red Mighty Morphin Ranger jumped at the Gecko monster from one side, whilst Albert jumped at the Gecko monster from the other. The Red Ranger swung his Power Sword, as Albert swung his Bison Axe in unison, both of them slashing the Gecko monster at the same time. The monster stopped in mid-motion, then exploded, but the explosion was caught in the ball of water. The conflict between the magic-infused water and the explosion monster caused the water to evaporate. "Perfect," the crocodile monster growled. The trio stood as both monsters pulled out collars and attached them. They pressed a button on the side and they both inhaled deeply. The spirit of the monster appeared for a brief second and then was absorbed into both the monsters. "Thanks to the Armada, whenever one of us gets destroyed, we get to absorb the Rinshi energy from them using these collars," the monkey monster gloated. "Great, just what we've blimmin' needed," the Red Ranger moaned.
We should switch.
The Blue Ranger suggested. "Yeah, I gotcha," the Red Ranger replied. Both Rangers hit their belt buckles and they swiveled, revealing different Ranger keys. They snatched them up, they called out for their legendary Ranger mode as they slotted in their keys into their morphers, and the Blue Mystic Ranger morphed into the yellow Mighty Morphin Ranger as the red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger morphed into the blue Turbo Ranger. Albert triggered his ring and tossed the Bison Axe into the morphin grid. He then selected a new weapon and pulled out the jungle tonfas. The Yellow Ranger and the Blue Ranger dropped down into their fighting stances as Albert stood there twirling one tonfa in his grip, ready to fight the newly charged Rinshi, who was more than happy to go on a full-scale attack. However, somewhere across the world, a new device had been triggered. It had been activated, and it called for a chosen one to use it. Somewhere, the Silver Super Megaforce Morpher had awakened, and somewhere else a young man was chosen. He did not yet know it, but his destiny for the fight of the Earth had begun.